Hey, this is Trogthorpe here. Just a quick note, if you like the content you're getting out of these videos, you like this series, please ring the bell, follow us on Facebook, YouTube, check out our Discord server. All of those descriptions are in the notes below. How's it hanging, mobile gamers? Welcome back to Trogthorpe Mobile Gaming. In this episode, we're going to continue taking a look at rank pushing. We're going to look at some of the different things that go into it. Up till now, we've taken a look at a few of the myths and legends that go into how to rank. There's a lot of different theories out there on the internet. If you have one that you really think holds some water, please send it to me if I haven't already done something on it. But now we're going to take a look into, I've analyzed hundreds of matches. I've taken all of the data from each of those matches that I can find, and I've processed it to figure out what is actually most closely related to when someone gets a high score. So we're going to take a look at that. Not surprisingly, the most related things to ranking up were all found on the Pentagon. You know the one. At the end of the match, when you see all of your scores and it looks just like this, it's got your grade right above it. That one right there, all of those 5 points there had a fairly strong correlation, some more, some less than others, to the number of points that were doled out at the end of the match. So we're going to dive into each of those, see what goes into them. We'll probably break that up into 2 or 3 videos so that I don't keep them too long, and we'll tear them apart and see what we can do to make it easier to rank up. Now, starting at the top and working our way clockwise, the first one there is survival. So what goes into survival? Survival has a fairly strong correlation to the number of points that one received. So not surprisingly, by far the most significant thing on there was how long they survived. Over a 90% correlation on that. It was a very strong correlation. So honestly, obviously, the best thing you can do to get a high rating on survival is last as long as possible. Now, we covered in a previous video, that means getting to the ground as quick as possible, because the sooner you get down, the sooner your clock starts, and lasting as long as possible. You want to outlast as many people as possible, preferably obviously get first place. I have seen matches where I've received first place and I only got a 95 or a 98 or a 99 on my survival score. That is because, probably I'm guessing, is because I did not survive as long as the match expected first place to survive. I probably jumped out of the plane late, drifted a little further, or something else that caused my time to be a little slower. So you want to hit the ground fast, you want to get to where you can survive, and you want to last through the whole match and get as far as you possibly can. That's how you get your survival score up. The next few things that had anything to do with it were your supplies and your number of kills. Those had correlations, but to be honest, those are probably just side factors. If you're playing a good match and lasting long, you're probably getting a lot of supplies. And then if you're lasting that long, you're probably getting a fair number of kills. If nothing else, at least bots. You're probably killing 2 or 3 or 4 bots in a match. So I'm going to say that probably the number one big factor here is obviously just last as long as you can. Get to the ground fast and last as long as possible. Now, one myth that I've heard here on survival is that if you play on Miramar, because it's the biggest map and the matches take the longest, it's easier to score a higher score on survival because you lasted longer. Well, the reality of that is, by my numbers, the amount of time that you are required to survive in order to get top scores varies depending on the map. So if you're on Erangel, for example, it's about 24 and a half minutes. If you're on Sanhok, which is the smallest map, it's only 20 and a half minutes. And then Miramar was about 26 and a half, or almost 27 minutes actually, before you got full marks on it. So it is not necessarily easier to get a higher survival score on Miramar just because it's bigger and the matches last longer. It is weighted based on how long they actually expect the average person to last in the match. The second category on the Pentagon is kills. Now, again, not surprisingly, the biggest major factor in this is how many kills you got. Now, there was one other thing that had a very high correlation, and that was damage. My guess is if you're doing a lot of kills, you're doing a lot of damage. They kind of go hand in hand, unless you're just waiting and picking off other people's kills, but then you're probably not getting a very high kill count. So I'm guessing that this is more just directly related to kills. The number of kills you had to get per match varied again depending on the map. We'll get into specifics on those in a future video on how you can max out each category per map, because each map does have different requirements. However, just know that it's about 6 to 8 kills per match is about where you max out the benefit on kills toward your points. It's where you get the highest 100% score on the kills on the Pentagon. So just get out there. Obviously, these first two categories, survival and kills, they go hand in hand. They're both very high factors, and so you need to get out there, put yourself out there and kill people, but do it in a smart and safe way to where you're not taking engagements that you're not likely to win. So we'll have more later. Thanks for tuning in. As always, may you see your enemies first, and may your shot be their last.